Have you ever had a student push you so far that you felt like you're about to snap? Because I have. And for a long time, I used to think that calm was a personality trait. But what I learned over the years is this. Calm is not a personality trait. It is a skill, and you can absolutely learn it. Be sure to stick around to the end of this video because I have a free download for you to print and use in your classroom right away. Let me tell you a story about a day that things really changed for me. So a little background, I hadn't slept well that night. I think I'd been battling a migraine, so I was already off on the wrong foot when I woke up. I was just kind of cranky. I think it was raining that day, so driving to school was a mess with traffic. Everything was kind of just a bad day. I ended up running late. I felt very foggy-brained, very just disoriented, and just kind of tired and out of it. So I already felt behind by this time the kids walked in. And then that one student, you know the one, just really started pushing the boundaries for me. He wasn't following directions. He was talking over me. He was all over the place. And I had already come in emotionally dysregulated. So I was ready to snap. My patience was already thin, and he just pushed me over the edge and I lost it. And not in like a screaming way, but I raised my voice a little bit. I got more tense. I got more frustrated. And that's not the teacher I want to be. But I want you to hear something very important in this story. I wasn't a bad teacher in that moment. I was just simply a dysregulated human trying to regulate tiny little humans. So one of the most important things I want you to understand is called co-regulation. Kiddos borrow from our nervous system. If we're calm and steady, then they feel calm and safe much faster. That's why I say teacher self-care is not actually something just for you. It's actually classroom management strategy. You have to regulate yourself before you can help regulate your students. So your window of tolerance shrinks considerably when you haven't taken care of yourself. And these are just basic things like making sure you're getting plenty of sleep at night, making sure that you're drinking water throughout the day. Are you getting enough to eat? Are you eating snacks when you need them? Are you taking a lunch? I remember during COVID, I was skipping my lunch every single day because I was so stressed about hybrid learning, and I spiraled rapidly. And it took me a couple weeks to realize, oh, I'm skipping lunch. There may be a connection here. Make sure you're moving your body every day, whether it's just a 10-minute walk outside and you're just enjoying nature and getting fresh air. And try to do something to help you decompress from the stresses of teaching, like read a book, do some yoga, take a bath. Just find a little something to just help fill your cup. And I know I feel like it's so annoying because I feel like everyone's like, just do self-care. And so there is obviously a lot more than just do self-care and it's all, going to go away, but it really is a huge component. So I don't want to be extreme and say just do teacher self-care and that's how you can de-stress. There's a lot of other things that need to happen as well, but it is definitely an area that we need to, I believe teachers can definitely grow in because teachers are just so giving and we just pour from our cup until there's nothing left, and then we try to squeeze more out when there's nothing there. So this is your permission. I am telling you to take care of yourself. Okay, so making sure, just setting a good foundation by making sure that you are taking care of yourself. You are emotionally regulated when you step into your classroom every day. So let's talk about some in-the-moment tools that you can use when those behaviors do start to escalate. And I'm going to talk about when a single student really tests you and really pushes those boundaries. So step one, don't forget to breathe. This is huge. If you just stop and pause, I know it's hard because a lot of times you may have a kid. I've had kids screaming, yelling, throw themselves on the ground. They're throwing chairs, obviously, whatever it is. Just take a breath and pause for 1 second. Step two is do a quick check-in with yourself. Ask, am I emotionally regulated right now? What do I need to do to get there? If it's a situation where making sure all the kids are safe, this kiddo if he or she is having a meltdown and they're safe, if maybe you need to step away, get a drink of water, if you need to just take a couple deep breaths, whatever you need to do to help kind of ground yourself so you're able to approach the situation with calm and with confidence. Okay, step three is use a grounding phrase. You can say things like, I can see you're having a hard time, my friend. I'm here to help you. Or one of my favorites is, let's stop and let's take a deep breath together. Smell the flowers. Pretend I would pick a bunch of flowers and smell. Blow out the candles. If your student is in full meltdown and say, your phrase isn't working, maybe they're having a hard time taking deep breaths, maybe they're angry, they're screaming, they're hyperventilating, crying, whatever it is, I'm going to tell you what's going on in their brain. So they're no longer in that prefrontal cortex. That is where the logical reasoning happens. That's where the self-control happens. They're now at the back of the brain, which is fight or flight. So in that moment, when they're just so emotionally dysregulated and they're basically having what I like to call a come apart, you have to step in and you have to help ground them. You cannot reason with them right now. You cannot use logic. You have to bring them back to the present. Their brain is not able to process logic in these moments. So ground them in the here and now. A few tricks that I like to try is I would say, let's go get a drink of water. Just something to help them drink, fill the cold water. I would say, notice how it drinks and how as you're drinking it, how it goes down your throat and how does it feel so cold. Or walk around the room and let's just do a walk. And that encourages the bilateral stimulation in their brain. You can do like maybe a color hunt around the room where I'll say, let's look and see how many red things we can find and let's point them out and say all the red things. You can also give them something to squeeze or to hold, something to like tangible that they can hold on to help kind of transfer that like energy out. Maybe if they're crying, they can hold like a stuffy, or if they're angry, they can like squeeze like one of those like squishy balls, different things to help kind of bring them back into the present moment. I once had a student that was in full-blown meltdown mode and she was hyperventilating and I could not talk or reason with her. So I just started having her walk around and I started asking her. I knew that she loved Disneyland and I said, can you tell me about Disneyland? What's your favorite ride when you go to Disneyland? What's one that you really love? And if maybe she couldn't talk in that moment, I would say, you know what my favorite is? And I would tell her what ride I loved and why I loved it. What's yours and why do you love it? And in that moment, she was able to kind of stop and it helps her just start thinking. Remember, we want to get out of that back of the brain, and it helped her start thinking using her prefrontal cortex. And she started thinking, okay, what is my favorite? So using these techniques can just help ground your kiddos and bring them out of that back of the brain, fight or flight or freeze, to the front. I want you to think connection before correction. So we have to regulate them before we can address their behavior issues. Once everyone, including you, is grounded and is emotionally regulated at that point, that's when you can move into the 4-step behavior reset. I walk through this full process for you in another video. I'll be sure to link it below so you can grab that and get the full reset process. Just remember, correction doesn't come without calm. Regulation always has to come first. So if you have ever just felt pushed to the edge by your students, know you are so not alone, right? It's hard. We have such a hard job, but you are an amazing teacher. Hear me out, my friend. I know you're an incredible teacher. You would not be here otherwise if you didn't have a big heart and care so much for your students. The fact that you are learning and growing and trying, that makes you an amazing, incredible teacher, and your students are so blessed to have you. Be sure to download my free Calm Kit, which is just this helpful little visual to help your students remember to breathe in and breathe out. Don't forget, my friend, calm is not a personality trait. It's a skill that is learned by both you and your students. All right, that's all for now, my friend. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, happy teaching.